Hello and welcome to the Pluribus Unums Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. Now, as you may have noticed, this episode's got a different logo. I've included the hat of Eugene V. Debs. This kind of gives you like the intel of like, oh hey, I'm into third parties and that kind of stuff, because you don't necessarily get that with FDR's hat. And FDR, of course, is because this is called Fireside Chats. Now, there aren't that many news stories, as you could tell, because I kind of wanted to finish something that was supposed to have been finished in the last episode. Before we get into that, let's briefly go over the stories and the party. It's not too much. It's Jeff Sessions and the immigration and the Bible, the problems with citing a passage to support an opinion. This is just, boring old. Like, he says, let everyone be basically, he uses a Bible verse to justify the separation of families and the immigration laws, which, of course, makes absolutely no sense because of the fact that, well, as much as you wanted to, Jeff, the United States is not a Christian nation. Nothing you will ever do, unless you actually go and change what the Founding Fathers wanted, is going to change that. Alright? I mean, there's not much really else I can say that has been said already. The policy is dumb. And my mother, who's a relatively apolitical person, also really hates this policy. But again, she was really apolitical until the 2016 election, where she openly was kind of, anti-Trump, She has this weird conspiracy theory where she's like, that's because Salma Hayek won't sleep with him, and that's why he's deporting all these immigrants. It's like, okay. This one I actually kind of like. Canada just legalized marijuana. This is a good thing. As you may know, I'm an advocate for the legalization of marijuana in the United States. And this is a good idea because, well, Trudeau finally did something good. Trudeau, the centrist neoliberal, finally does something I approve of. It's nice. Okay, but now let's briefly go over this political party, the American Solidarity Party. It is a political party that adheres to the ideology of Christian democracy, which means that it is on the, as you can see here, on the economic side, it's center left, and on the social side, it's center right. It usually participates in elections in California. And one of the things is they feel that they're basically they're pretty much a centrist party. Half of their ideology is blank and half of their ideology is blank. And as you can see, they're center left and center right, so they don't veer too much. So yeah, they pretty much are just centrist. They actually ran a candidate in let me see if there's a picture of him here. No, they ran Mike Maturin in the presidential election of 2016, but they have the one part of their platform that is a thing that they espouse is they believe in consistent life ethic. Means they're against the death penalty, but also they're against abortion. Which if you're consistent with it makes sense if they're consistent on both fronts. Says me, the guy who was... Lexi, yeah, I am pro both. I'm pro both. They're anti both. So anyways, now finally to get into the meat of the episode. I thought this was pulled up above that. The ISideWith Test. As you can see, I actually filled in all the answers that were already there. Okay. Should women be allowed to wear a niqab, a face veil, in civic ceremonies? Yes. This is... Yeah, actually, like, this is an answer Kyle Kulinski put on his ISideWith Test, and I think this just makes sense. Should sports betting be legal? Yes. I mean, I don't think there's any particular reason why sports betting shouldn't be legal. Should the government increase environmental regulations to prevent climate change? Yes. And this is most because this is one of the most important issues facing America and the world. Should the U.S. withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement? No. They should probably update this quiz with, should the U.S. have withdrawn from the Paris Climate Agreement? Should the U.S. expand offshore drilling? No. Should the government stop construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline? Yes. I'm going to put most for literally every single environmental question because this is important, like really important. Should the government give tax credits and subsidies to the wind and power industry? Just hold on, let me read through these answers. I always forget this question. I guess I'll go with this one. Yeah, this makes sense. Should disposable products such as plastic cups... Yeah, I'm not going to leave this question blank because I really don't have an answer to this question. Do you support the use of hydraulic fracking to extract oil and natural resources? No. Economic issues. Should the government make cuts to public spending in order to reduce the national debt? No. Should welfare recipients be tested for drugs? No, this is waste of time. Hold on, let me go back up there and check the answers. Maybe there's a different answer. Yeah, I think that one just suffice. Should the U.S. raise taxes on the rich? Yep, 100%. There's no question about it. Should the government raise the federal minimum wage? Yes, and make it a living wage. This is a very important issue to me. Should employers be required to pay men and women the same salary for the same job? Now, you see, this is actually a really strange question for me to answer. Because, on the one hand, yes, this is obviously a no-brainer. But, again, like, there's also the whole, is the wage gap, like, from all the research I've seen, the wage gap doesn't necessarily have that many hits to it. So, I'm just going to do what Kyle Kulinski did and just put equal pay for equal work. Just so that my answer can actually have a meaning behind it and also not variably justify, because these answers you submit yourself really don't, to my knowledge, they don't actually seem to shift your answers. Should businesses be required to provide paid leave for full-time employees during the birth of a child or a sick family member? Yep, 100%. No-brainer. Should the U.S. raise or lower tax rates for corporation? Raise. 100%. Raise. Do you support a universal basic income program? Now this is a really weird one. I should have probably pulled this up. Because currently, you may have heard me mention this before, but currently, the guy I'm supporting in 2020, Andrew Yang, like, it's his go-to thing, and I'm not necessarily supporting or not supporting it. Individuals like Joe Rogan, have, I don't necessarily know the whole issues about universal basic income. So I really am not entirely sure about universal basic income. Even the Green Party recently revealed that they were gonna do universal basic income. So, even though I can easily just leave this, you know what, maybe I'll just do that too, so I can say I answered all the questions. I'll just do this so I can say I answered all the questions I'm not informed enough to answer. Like, I honestly don't support or not support. If I was invited on the Joe Rogan podcast and he asked me for universal basic income, I couldn't say I supported it or not supported it. Should there be fewer or more restrictions on current welfare benefits? No, definitely. No, maybe no, probably not. Fewer. I don't think they provide enough support. I guess I'll go with this one. Yeah, I guess fewer, because fewer kind of just encompasses both of these positions more. Should the government prevent mega mergers of corporations that could potentially control a large... Yep. Like Bernie Sanders, break them up. Break up the banks. Do you believe labor unions help hurt or help the economy? Help. I'm actually going to leave this be playing for a bit.
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
You see, you can say socialists have a bad economic policy, but you can't deny socialists have great music. They have great music. Solidarity Forever, the International, what did you learn in school today? Those are some of my favorites political songs. You'll love them if you're on the left libertarian side of the political spectrum. But anyways, Should the U.S. president offer tax breaks to individual companies to keep jobs in the U.S.? Ooh, Mr. Beat. If you want to keep liking me, I want you to turn away now. Close your eyes and cover your ears until I say you're good. Sorry, but you know, you know what? This is a challenge to you, Mr. Beat. I challenge you. We can discuss tariffs and taxes and, this kinds of stuff about outsourcing jobs. Hit me up and we can discuss. By the way, you're good now. Should the government use economic stimulus to aid the country during times of recession? Yeah. Should the government require businesses to pay salaried employees making up should they pay them overtime? Yeah. If you work more, you make more money. That's just how it is. Should the current estate tax be decreased? Estate tax, let me read a little bit about it again. Oh, the inheritance tax. Increase it at a progressive rate, yeah. All my right of left folks are going to be seeing this and be like, ay, Dios mío. Should the U.S. continue to participate in the North American Free Trade Agreement? No. NAFTA. Donald Trump had it right with NAFTA by saying, it is the worst trade deals in the history of trade deals. Should the government increase the tax rate on profits earned from the sales of stocks, bonds, and real estate? Yep. Raise taxes on the rich. The rich need to pay more. Should the government subsidize farmers? Let me see. For getting farms, temporary measures for stabilizing prices, small local farms instead of large corporations. I guess this would be the correct answer for me. Help the little guy, not the guy who doesn't need help. Should the U.S. citizens be allowed to save or invest their money in offshore bank accounts? No. No, they're too busy. Should the U.S. increase tariffs on products imported from China? I'm going to have to say, Mr. Beat, look away. Yeah. Do you support the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP? No. Should the Federal Reserve Bank be audited by Congress? Yes. Kucinich, Sanders, Paul, and Grayson all agree, audit the bank. Would you favor an increased sales tax in order to reduce property taxes? Would you favor an increased sales tax in order to reduce property taxes? No, I don't think that would be a good idea. That one, it's not really I guess somewhat would be a more... Should the government classify Bitcoin as a legal currency? Yes. Yes, but it should not replace Like, this is pretty much a non-issue for me. Should the government add or increase tariffs on products imported in this country? Yeah. This is a good idea. Tariffs are... You know what? Let me actually research tariffs again. Because I remember looking at it before. Yeah. Should pension payments be increased for retired government workers? Yes, but for government workers, not politicians. Should pension plans for federal, state, and local government workers be You know what, I guess for this one I just have to say up front. Should an in-state sales tax apply to an online purchases of in-state buyers from out-of-state sellers? Sure. Should internet service providers be allowed to speed up access to popular websites that pay higher rates? No. Net neutrality. I'm for net neutrality. Should there be more restrictions on the current process of purchasing a gun? Yes. It's a bad thing. I guess I'll put most. Are you in favor of decriminalizing drug use? Yes. Do you support affirmative action programs? Now, you see, affirmative action is actually a really difficult thing. I'll put this one because this one actually fits more with me. Should teachers be allowed to carry guns at schools? I just like to picture this now, Mr. B just walking in with a Glock, just like, hey kids, you want to learn about presidential elections in American history? It just sounds strange. But anyways, no. Yeah, why isn't security guards? You know, security guards that don't run out. Should local police increase surveillance and patrols of Muslim neighborhoods? No. Should people on the no-fly list be banned from purchasing gun and ammunition? Yes. But do not. I scrolled up by accident. Oops. Yes, make it fair. Should there be term limits for for members of Congress? You know, I hate this answer. I hate this one. No, we already have term limits. They're called elections. Yes, a politician should not be sitting there for more than a certain amount of time. A politician should not be sitting there for more than 10 years. Wait, I forget. Did Bernie Sanders sit in the House for more than 10 years? Because if he did, I'm... Look, I mean, let's just put this in hypothetical. If I was president, Bernie Sanders would already be dead, so I could pass this law without even caring. But yes, term limits should probably be... They should be implemented in either now or the near future. You see, you kind of can tell, like, my Bernie bias is kind of like showing, like, maybe when Bernie's dead. Because everybody always has that, like, kind of bias. Like, it's like, whenever we think of term limits, we're always like, yeah, Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, it'll all be gone. But then when you think about politicians you actually do like for me, it'd be like Ro Khanna, Raul Grijalva, Alan Grayson, and Pramila Jayapal. I'd be like, oh wait, but then that means they gotta go too. Ooh, but it's like, you gotta be fair and fair. All's fair. If I get to kick out Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, and Elizabeth Warren, then that means I also gotta kick out Bernie Sanders, Raul Grijalva, and Ro Khanna. It's just fair. Should it be illegal to burn the American flag? Yes, because I'm for national pride. No. No, it's a violation of the free speech. TJ Kern brought up the best example. Like, if I burnt the American flag, even if I wanted to be like, yeah, fuck America, America stinks, I'm ironically like, standing up for what the flag actually means. Like, the flag's like, the flag, when you're burning it, is like, yeah, go ahead, burn me. Because guess what? You're exercising the one thing that is 100% guaranteed to you, the right to burn this flag. Should victims of gun violence be allowed to sue firearms dealers and manufacturers? Yes, but only dealers. Because if a dealer sells a gun in a wrong way, they gotta they have a lot of bad things. Should the NSA be allowed to collect basic metadata? No. I wouldn't go so far as to say abolish the NSA, because I think the NSA actually has some, I'm open to this answer. You see, if I was president, I'd actually give something to libertarians to kind of be like, oh, I kind of like that. I would go to basically every government program and say, like, tell me what you do, and if I don't think you're a good use of my time, I will abolish you. Like, for example, the DEA, kiss goodbye. Okay. And, there's another one that I think I would abolish, but I forget which one. Should the government be allowed to seize private property with reasonable compensation for public or civic use? Yes, but only for public projects. I mean, hold on, there's another answer. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to seize your home, only if landowners are compensated drastically above fair market price. It'd be more this one. Should the redrawing of congressional districts be controlled by an independent, nonpartisan commission? Yeah, 100% duh. I've had the same congressman for like 13 years. Actually, more than 13 years. He's been around since. Well, I'm gonna dox this guy. I mean, not really dox him, but I mean, it's not actually doxing him, but dang it, I always have to. Yeah, this Uggo. He's been 1987 to 1995. Hold on, let me do the quick math. On the calendar. I scrolled past that like 3 times. Okay. 1995 minus 1987. That's 8 years already. 8 years. Okay. Now, 2018, not 15, 18, minus 1997, 21. So that's 29 years that this man has been in Congress. And he's got that way because of North Carolina's stupid gerrymandering. Anyways, do you support the Patriot Act? No. At this rate, we're never going to get done with this podcast. Should the government raise the retirement age for Social Security? No. This will disadvantage low-income seniors. Should the government pass laws which protect whistleblowers? Yes, 100%. Should the government grant immunity to Edward Snowden? I was about to make a grave mistake. Edward Snowden, free Snowden. Should the military upgrade Air Force One? No. I guess just no. I've never understood, Air Force One, just retire the stupid plane and get another private jet. Do you support the Patient Protection of Affordable Care Act, Obamacare? Yes, but a mandatory single-payer healthcare system would be even better. Single-payer is the best way to go. Most. Should health insurers be allowed to deny coverage for individuals? No. Do you support the legalization since marijuana? Do you support the legalization of marijuana? Yes. I've been supporting it for a long time. Should the government increase funding for mental health research and treatment? Yeah. Should the government regulate the price of life-saving drugs? Yes, and we should socialize medicine and healthcare. Single-payer healthcare is the way to go. Do you support a single-payer healthcare system? Finally, you get to this question. Should cities open drug safe havens where people who are addicted to illegal drugs can use them under supervision and medical professionals? Yeah. Hold on, mic's getting a bit, uneven. Should the federal government increase funding for healthcare for low-income individuals? Medicare? Yes, but I prefer switching to single-payer. Literally every single question is going to be yes, but I would prefer single-payer. Should people who be required to work in order to receive Medicaid? No, the vast majority who receive Medicaid are disabled. It says Medicaid for a reason, people. Should the federal government be allowed to negotiate drug prices for Medicare? Yeah. It's the only answer that makes sense out of the ones given. Should there be more or less privatization of veterans' health care? Now, this is a really interesting thing because, while yes, I prefer single payer and everybody would get health care single payer, but I will do this less, but give veterans the opportunity to opt out. Now you see, because that's another problem that's been going on. You know, when you're like, wait a minute. Like when you're like, trying to put my words together. When you're, you know, for the unification, like I don't know what I was saying for a second. I guess I'll just move on to the next question since I'm stumbling upon my words. Do you support increasing taxes for the rich in order for... You already saw my answer. I was answering it while I was paying attention. Do you support Common Core national standards? No. Teach to each student's potential instead of uniform testing. And besides, like, my history teacher and my teachers, the best teachers seem to pretty much say F you to the Common Core standards. Like, they would teach us how they wanted to teach us. I remember, like, my history teacher. I had this funny story about my history teacher. I really liked him, but he got fired. And so, here's what happened. We spent the whole year learning, you know, the average stuff, but he was teaching us in his way, his style, teaching us, you know, through a unique way. He even had us take the Southern Literacy test just to show us, you know, how it worked. And then he got fired for getting into a fight with another teacher. But anyways, eventually they just had to teach us through crash course the remainder of the I think we left off at the 1912 election, and in the last couple of weeks we had to literally go day by day with a different, like, in the last 2 weeks we had to go, like, literally every day was like crash course 1912 election, crash course the Reagan Revolution, crash course, like, it's like, okay, do you support charter schools? No, and education should not be privatized. You know what? I guess I'll just have to say it. I know this is going to be the first one where I actually get, like, an answer on this side, but, you know, whatever. Should the U.S. accept refugees from Syria? Should the government increase or decrease military spending? Decrease. Should foreign terrorism subjects be given constitutional rights? Should every 18-year-old citizen be required to provide at least 1 year of military service? No. Should the U.S. remain in the United Nations? Yeah. I could see staying in the UN. I could see staying in the UN or NATO, I believe. Should military be allowed to use enhanced interrogation methods to swat everyone? No. No torture. Should the U.S. continue to support Israel? Oof. Israel. No, I know we should not be involved in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Personally, I would prefer to stay involved until we can officially craft the 1947 reform the 1947 deal that was supposed to be had, where we cut the country in literally 50-50. Palestine, you stay here. Israel, you stay here. None of you fight. And we're all happy. Should the U.S. conduct military airstrikes in North Korea in order to destroy their long-range missiles? No. We're pretty much guaranteeing a war if we do that. Should the U.S. fly drones over it? No. No, you know what? Yes. Like, not yes to the question, but like, for most. Should the U.S. increase or decrease foreign aid spending? Now you see, this is an interesting question, because who we foreign aid spending to? Like, because foreign aid spending, I don't necessarily know entirely what foreign aid is. Is it just giving people food? But for many of these countries, it's literally just giving them weapons. So I would say decrease. Should the U.S. send ground troops into Syria to fight ISIS? No, this question needs to be deleted because ISIS is no longer a threat. Should the U.S. remain in NATO? Yes. Like, because another thing about, like, if the U.S. just decided one day they're going to pull out of both NATO and the UN, the rest of the world kind of points their eyebrows and be like, wait, what? Why are you leaving? Are you planning something? Do you support President Obama's move to lift and trade and travel embargo to Cuba? Yep. Yeah, it was a smart idea. Cuba was no longer a threat, so we just decided to make friends. Should the U.S. formally declare war on ISIS? No. Again, ISIS is no longer a threat. You should delete this question. Should the U.S. provide military assistance to defend Ukraine from Russia? No. We should pursue every diplomatic option first. When I say pursue, I guess it's in between these ones, so I just put no. Because, again, it's not necessarily our problem, but then again, we need to tell Russia, like, hey, stop. Should the U.S. continue NSA surveillance of our allies? No. Should the U.S. prevent Russia from conducting airstrikes in Syria? No, we should not get involved. It's not our problem. This is the reason why I still am half on the fence on if Hillary Clinton was a better leader than Donald Trump. Like, when people ask me the question, like, do you believe that Hillary Clinton is a better leader than Donald Trump? Do you think she was a better choice now? I still can't firmly say yes because of the no-fly zone idea. Should the U.S. provide military aid to Saudi Arabia during its conflict with Yemen? No, absolutely not. I guess more of this, because fuck Saudi Arabia. Wait, I accidentally scrolled too much. Should the U.S. defend NATO countries? I've answered this question a lot of times on my other takings of this test, but I really just gotta specify. I really just don't know about the GDP. Should the U.S. cancel perfection of the F-5 fighter? Yeah, I don't like fighter jets, so yeah. Should police officers be required to wear body cameras? Yes. Should convicted criminals have the right to vote? Yeah. I mean, what the fuck are they gonna do? What the fuck are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Like, Like, what are they gonna do? You think they're gonna should drug traffickers receive the death penalty? I guess this one is the most logical one out of all of the ones. Of all the answers, that one's the most logical. Should nonviolent prisoners be released from jail in order to reduce overcrowding? Yeah. Every nonviolent drug offender should be freed. Should the military ban the use of solitary confinement for juveniles? Yeah. Not just juveniles, for everybody. Nobody should be put in solitary confinement. It's a bad idea. Should a photo ID be required to vote? No, and automatically register every voter at age 18. That makes the most logical sense to me. That way, even if like the thing is, it doesn't mean that you're forced to vote. It just means that you now don't have to worry about getting the vote. Should the electoral college be abolished? Yes, and replace it with a ranked voting system. This is the best voting system. I literally don't see any voting system better than this. Well, yes, it still inevitably leads to two parties kind of remaining in control, but then it also destroys the whole spoiler controversy. Should foreigners currently residing in the U.S. have the right to vote? Yes, anyone who pays taxes should have the right to vote. If you pay freaking taxes, then maybe you should be allowed to vote. Like, I mean, should there be a limit to the amount of money a candidate can receive from a donor? Yeah, 100%. Yep. Should the minimum voting age be lowered? Now, this is a very interesting one, because Dennis Kucinich, he sold me on the idea of lowering the voting age, but again, I'm still kind of salty that I didn't get to vote when I was 16, because, I would have loved to vote when I was 16. It would have been a great fucking time for me if I voted when I was 16, but I'm just gonna say no. And this is really no issue for me whatsoever. Should foreign lobbyists be allowed to raise money for American elections? No. Nobody outside of the... Why aren't they calling attention to this? This is foreign people ruining our elections. Foreign lobbyists raising money for American elections. If a foreign politician endorses, then that's fine. But if you're a foreign lobbyist giving money to an American candidate, you are attempting to influence the election. Should corporations, unions, and non-profit organizations be allowed to donate to political parties? Yes, but limit the amount they can donate. Yeah, I say if you severely limit the amount and make it known, specifically make it known who is going to be, if Mr. Beat ran for governor of Kansas right now, and suddenly, I don't know, trying to think of the National Nurses United or a teacher organization donated to his campaign. They should have a limited amount that they can donate, and they should have make it known that Gary Johnson has a more strange version of this idea where he's everybody wears NASCAR things, NASCAR jackets, which, I mean, it's an archaic idea, but sure, if that makes it known who's donating to who, then fine, I'll be all for it. Should political candidates be required to release their recent tax returns to the public? Not really. I'd respect them if they did, but I really don't care. Should a politician who has been formally convicted of a crime be allowed to run for office? This one. This is specifically a Hillary Clinton question. Should there be a 5-year ban on White House congressional officials from becoming lobbyists after they leave the government? Yes, and make it a lifetime ban. I mean, yes, at least a 5-year ban. Should the government increase spending on public transportation? Yeah, sure. Should the U.S. build a wall along the southern border? We need to build a wall. No, it's an absolute waste of time and money. Should immigrants be deported if they commit a serious crime? No, only if they enter the country illegally. Like, if a man only if they enter the country illegally. Should illegal immigrants have access to government-subsidized health care? Yes, and grant them citizenship. Should Muslim immigrants be banned from entering the country until government improves its ability to screen on potential terrorists? No, we do a lot of screening. We screened a lot. Our screening process is a whole lot longer than people think. Should children of illegal immigrants be granted legal citizenship? Yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, most. No. Should immigrants be required to learn English? Nah. I mean, that depends. It also just means that you're just gonna have to understand that you're not gonna get the kind of jobs that you want. Like, for example, I have a friend who works. There are many individuals who work and the common stereotype of the Mexican busboy. Everybody has that stereotype of the Mexican busboy that can't speak English. Like, hello, senor, how you doing today? But, you know, a busboy is not going to need to know English as much as a server. So, I mean, just know you also have to pick your jobs right. Alright? Should there be a temporary ban on all immigration to the U.S.? I hear fragile goods action going up, but no. Should legal immigrants be offered in-state tuition of aw? You showed up on my recording. How sweet. Should illegal immigrants be offered in-state tuition rates at public colleges within their residing state? Yeah. Should sanctuary cities receive federal funding? Sure. I'm pretty sure all those fiscal conservatives out there are just slamming their head like, well, you're throwing so much money away. Should immigrants be required to pass citizenship to demonstrate the basic understanding of the country's language, history, and government? You know, I'm actually gonna have to say no. I really don't care about that. Personally, I'd be more akin to them passing a psychological test. Like, not saying all Mexicans are like psychopaths, but, you know, just making sure we don't get any of the crazies. Should local law enforcement be allowed to detain illegal immigrants for minor crimes? And no, this is stupid. Should working illegal immigrants be given temporary amnesty? Yes, and create a simple path for citizenships with immigrants for no criminal record. Yeah. Should the U.S. increase restrictions on its current border policy? I guess just put no. It's like many people think that literally it's just like a revolving door for immigrants. Just like, oh, I'm an immigrant and I walk in. It's not that hard. It's harder to get in the country than you think. They do the illegal way so that they do it the illegal way so that because the legal way is too hard. If you make the legal way easier, then you won't have that many illegals. It's not that freaking hard. Should immigrants to the United States be allowed to hold dual citizenship status? Yeah. Should the U.S. increase or decrease the amount of temporary work visas given to high-skilled immigrant workers? Increase. Science issues. Should the government require children to be vaccinated for preventable diseases? Yeah. I'm sorry, anti-vaxxers, but should producers be required to genetically label engineered foods? Yes, I trust the science responsible for food engineering, but I do not trust the motives of the food companies selling them. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? That's not my zip code. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? I guess temporarily. Should the government fund space travel? Yes. This is not my zip code. I'm probably gonna delete this part. Okay, who is my favorite candidate for the 2020 presidential election? Now, we all know who's my guy. There he is. Okay, my results will be ready now. Oh hey, it's McMullen. How you doing, buddy? Haven't seen you in a while. You gonna run again anytime soon? Oh, this is fast. Okay, ready? My eyes closed, and I really do not understand why Elizabeth Warren ranks above Bernie Sanders. This is my biggest problem with the recent update for this quiz. It always shows Elizabeth Warren above Bernie Sanders, and I know it's not true for me. It's Sanders. Then, if Warren had to be on the list at all, Warren would be second, dummy. But like, before we, screw around with all these, candidates, before we screw around with the candidates and stuff, let's just see overall where I am on this quiz. Find compass? Will this work? Spectrum? But like again, I really don't understand why Warren ranks above Bernie. Warren, I hate Warren. I hate Elizabeth Warren. How did it get down there? Oh yeah, in case you don't know, in case I explicitly cut that part too, I selected Richard Watkins because they haven't updated the quiz because Richard Watkins has dropped out. Oh, themes. Oh, damn it, I didn't mean to click filters. Screw it. Environmentalism versus... I side moderately towards environmentalism. Populism versus elitism. I'm strongly populist. I think that I don't understand why they always put Bernie too close. Regulation versus deregulation. Moderately towards regulation. Socialism versus capitalism. I go strongly towards socialism. Now I feel this is a little misleading. I think I'm more over here. Sorry, I was pointing at it with my finger. I think I'm more over here. Personally. Pacifism versus militarism. Strongly towards pacifism. Big government versus small government. I strongly towards big government. Kesnian versus laissez-faire. No way. There is no way Biden is more left than Sanders. That is ludicrous. Libertarian versus authoritarian. I side slightly. Slightly libertarian. Slightly. Okay. Progressive versus traditional? Yeah. Moderately. What? I don't get why they call it isolationism. Decentralization versus centralization. Decentralization? I don't get it. How am I here? And they're here. How is he more left than... This makes no sense. This test is weird. Tender versus tough. Okay, I guess this makes sense. Collectivism versus individualism. Yeah, this makes sense as well. Privacy. I'm more moderate on privacy? That's insane. Secular. Apparently I am a moderate secularist. Okay. Like, and you may not have noticed it, but you might see when I scroll up, it apparently says I have a lot more questions that I have not answered. Protectionism versus globalization. Yeah. Wait. There's no way that that far apart. Multilateralism versus unilateralism. Globalism versus nationalism. Left wing versus right wing. Strongly towards left wing. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, at least in this one, they fucking acknowledge that he's further left than her. Multiculturalism versus assimilation. Politically correct versus politically incorrect. You side slightly towards politically correct. If you knew me in personal life, you probably wouldn't agree with that. Okay, scrolling back up. Because there's supposed to be like a political compass here. Was it downer? Is the political compass downer? Here it is. Okay. Now before we get into party. Oh wait, let's analyze. Let's see parties. Let's check parties. Nice. Let's check parties. Okay, parties. Again, I apparently side more with the Socialist Party than I do with the Green Party. The Democratic Party being a little bit farther behind. Republicans apparently at the very bottom. Wait, what do I agree with more of the Constitution Party on? No, what do I agree more with the Constitution Party on? Scroll back up. Why does the Women's Equality Party get? Why do you get so much stuff? The Working Families Party used to be up here. Now you're here. What the F? Now I think there's explicitly a problem that is here. I think there's explicitly a problem with the political compass test on this specific one. You hear how I'm clicking this. While we wait for this to load, finally, come on. Damn it, I didn't actually learn what the compass was called. No. Okay, I think it's explicitly this. No, not this. Oh, I know what it is. I remember what it is. Because ideologies make sense. I guess it was big government versus small government, because it puts the Democrats above the Socialist Party, with big government versus small government. There's no way. I can see it says right here. Well, I mean, you saw it. It was stuck for a while. Okay, I guess. Why'd it go back down? Click. What? Why did it go back down? Now it's gonna take me to a page about the Libertarian Party, and I don't want that. I did a whole video about this already. I did a whole video about you, Libertarian Party. I don't need to learn more. There. Go back to the 2020 presidential election. Because now I'm gonna screw with the, because Because it actually has a lot more candidates than you think. Now, another problem I have is that even if you specifically say, I want only these specific candidates, it will still put a ton of candidates that you didn't want. This update makes no sense. I don't like this update that they did. Hello? What's this? What does that mean? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, this is really cool. I can apparently check these political... Wow. I have to say, if they work, I will be impressed. I'm gonna do that instead of screwing with these candidates. Does it work? Does it work? I'm on a page, but does the page actually load? Because if this works, I'm gonna be doing this. It's like based on. I like the way it's like on the future 1952 presidential election. Guys, we better hurry and go vote in 1952. You gotta be kidding me. Does it only work if I click on this page? You can hear the sentence in my voice. I want this. I want this to work. Please work. I'll forgive you for all these other mistakes if you just let this one thing work. Just please. Please.